Since the beginning of media, Western media have used propaganda to show the good things about themselves and hide the bad. They also like to use propaganda to show the good things that other countries do. We expect experts and analysts to have biased opinions, but not the media. According to the Los Angeles Times, the U.S.-China tension is fueling a wave of hate against Asians because of the Western media. Not only is China shown as evil, but so are all other developing countries. The recent BRICS Media Forum has cost a lot of money. Use as a tool, how will this happen? The opinions of developing countries need to be heard more. Let's find out. The event was a place to talk about global problems they all face and promote a shared, fair choice for the next president of Xinhua News Agency. Fujiwa talked about how important it is for media outlets from BRICS countries to help shape a world based on cooperation and development. This is important because some countries try to monopolize international discourse and use media to push their own goals. Leaders of BRICS media have spoken out. Fujiwa said that the media's real job is to help global development, not to start fights. This stance fits with China's goals, which have been to live together peacefully and help each other for years on the world stage. Many myths and stereotypes about developing countries have been spread by Western media. This has led to an unfair and twisted view that makes it hard for these countries to move forward and reach their full potential. Many news networks, such as CGTN, have been against it. Western media often oversimplifies the cultural diversity of developing countries, reducing them to one-dimensional identities. This misrepresents their rich cultural landscapes and deep-rooted practices while ignoring their thriving success. For example, Africa's many different cultures and languages are often ignored in favor of simplified pictures that don't show its depth. Developing countries are often seen as slaves instead of leaders. Western media bias often downplays their contributions to science, technology, and creative industries. However, India's space program, China's advances in renewable energy, and South Africa's pioneering healthcare initiatives show that these countries are at the forefront of innovation in many fields. Western media's focus on sensationalism often hides developing countries' great achievements in humanitarian work. For example, Grassroots Global Health, an organization that works to improve the health of people in developing countries, is a good example of this. Crisis and conflict stories overshadow community-driven development projects and new ways to solve problems in healthcare and education. The focus of Western media on bad news from developing countries hides their wins and strength. The Sixth BRICS Media Forum was hosted by Xinhua News Agency and China Energy Investment Corporation. The theme was BRICS and Africa, strengthening media dialogue for a shared and fair future. The forum is not only a place for people to talk, but also a call to action for the media to work together when there are problems around the world. It's a show of unity against efforts to use media stories to hurt people. The deputy head of the publicity department of the CPC Central Committee and Minister of Culture and Tourism stressed the importance of the BRICS mechanism in supporting unity. This unity is a beacon of hope for emerging markets and developing countries that are facing changing international dynamics. Through monthly meetings, the BRICS Media Forum has become a key place for media from these countries to work together and get better. President Fujiwa's plan for bringing BRICS media organizations closer together echoes China's commitment to shared human values and a just international order. The call to tell BRICS stories in this new era focused on modernization and sustainable development strengthens the shared vision for a better world. Fujiwa boldly stated that media outlets from BRICS nations refuse to be mere pawns in perpetuating divisive narratives. Instead, their focus is on promoting global development, which will disrupt divisive narratives. The framework for the story was made by Western media, and they want to show the creativity, resilience, and promise that are often hidden by biased Western portrayals. Iqbal Survey, executive chairman of Independent Media of South Africa, talks about how important it is for BRICS media to work for an inclusive, cooperative, and fair new world order. This commitment is in line with China's core values of fairness and justice, creating an environment where developing nations can thrive and be heard. Before we go on, let us know if you're enjoying the video. If you are, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel. Dakota Lago, a member of the African National Congress's National Executive Committee, praised the gathering for making BRICS nations' voices heard and stopping attempts to use the media as a weapon. Not only do BRICS media leaders look out for their own interests, but they also help other emerging countries. Wang Min, director of CHN Energy, talked about how important the media is to social growth and energy security, two of China's main goals for its development. China's resolve to going green and reducing carbon emissions is clear, and giving more power to the media is a key way to reach these goals. Information about advances in renewable energy, breakthroughs in clean technologies, and the importance of using energy in a responsible way isn't just informative, it's also a call to action that pushes people to do something. By creating a feeling of responsibility and urgency through the media, industries and policymakers will take a more sustainable approach. China's message about energy security goes far beyond its borders. It fits in with global efforts to stop climate change and make sure that future generations will have a good life. As Fuja points out, the role of BRICS media is more than just reporting the news. It also includes promoting exchanges and mutual learning between civilizations. The Sixth BRICS Media format shows how strong and united emerging countries are in the face of global problems. As the forum comes to a close, China's view of the world is strongly influenced by the BRICS media leaders' firm stance against media abuse and their call for a cooperative and fair new world order. Repeat more than ever getting ready for a future where teamwork and growth go hand in hand through its talks and statements. The Prevail BRICS Media Forum gives developing countries a place to tell their stories without letting stereotypes get in the way. It becomes a place where voices rise above misinformation and show how strong people can be when they work together for a common goal. Do well as a co-host of the group. China is a key player in helping developing countries stand up to stories that are based on stereotypes. China's unwavering commitment to fairness and justice shows through its support for a new media landscape that respects the diversity and complexity of developing nations. But the question is, how will China and BRICS be able to end the Western monopoly? The BRICS represent different regions and cultures, which allows them to tell stories that resonate with audiences in Asia, Africa, and beyond. This regional focus can help make the media more inclusive and representative. By using new ways of telling stories and taking advantage of modern media technologies, this group effort could give a sense of global partnership and unity that goes beyond the Western story. China and the BRICS can engage viewers with stories that are interesting, relatable, and different, which could challenge the Western media monopoly. Getting rid of the Western media monopoly will take a long-term, strategic plan. Changes in how people use information and a growing interest in different points of view may make the world's media environment more balanced over time. China and the BRICS countries can definitely help with diversity. The story, by always promoting their own stories, beliefs, and points of view, their combined efforts and the changing media landscape could change the way people talk about the media around the world in a more inclusive way. China and the other BRIC countries started a goal to change the story, but it has become a global movement that helps developing countries all over the world. The narrative shift has the potential to break down long-standing barriers, bring people together, and spur growth around the world. Witnesses the change in the story, it realizes that the path to a more inclusive and equitable future brings all developing countries together under the goal of empowerment and progress. We'd like to take a moment to thank you all for writing and sharing your thoughts. Your ideas always blow us away. Do you think that a change in the way the world's media tells stories, led by China and the BRIC countries, can really help break down stereotypes and give developing countries more power? How do you think this change in narrative will affect how the world sees and supports these countries' progress? Let us know in the comments. How do you think a stronger voice from developing nations could contribute to a more balanced and diverse global media landscape? Until our next episode, stay curious, stay informed. This is Geopolitics Talks, signing off.